All right, welcome back to Satisfactory. In the last episode, we were able to get this computer factory up and running. We're now making 5 computers per minute. Half of them are currently being sent into the Dimensional Depot to be uploaded. The other half being put into this container for us. So I think I mentioned in the last episode, the goal is just to fill up 2 containers, keep that full. Then I'll probably pull the Sommer sloops out and utilize it from there. And in this episode, I don't have like a direct plan in mind. I know obviously there's a handful of things that we need to get done. I would like to get a little bit closer to completing phase 3 if at all possible. Excuse me. That definitely seems like a pretty major milestone for us currently. For just a moment, I'm going to stick around. I just want to double check and make sure that everything is running properly. I did it at the end of the last episode, but I'd rather be safe than sorry here. So one of the things that I want to get finished, or at least fix, is this rotor factory. I've been mentioning it the last few episodes. It's not properly functioning. These guys are operating at 16%. So I'm losing a lot of the rotors that I should be making that are going to motors because of the way that I have this set up. So the first thing that I need to do is I need to account for how many screws I'm currently making. So right now I'm making 6 sets of 50, which would be 300. Each of these uses 195 screws per minute, so essentially 200. So I'm going through 1200 screws per minute minus 5, 6, so 1170 screws per minute. Obviously, I can't even move that many with a tier 4 belt, so there just has to be a rework here for how we are currently doing this factory. That doesn't mean anything needs to get torn down necessarily. I think we just need to make some changes to how we're actually doing it. There is also a small amount of screws getting sent up through here because there is an excess. I'm not going to factor those in necessarily. To be exact, it is about 60 screws a minute, but I'll just consider that excess because this is also where I'm keeping screws. So we need to first, we're going to need to up our production of how many iron ingots we're making. And really quick, I want to grab some concrete. So first thing we need to do is extend the amount of smelters we have making ingots so that we can add on to the constructors. Now, when I built this, I only had access to Mark 1 miners, but now I have access to Mark 2 miners. So we can start getting at 240 ore per minute. We already have a tier 3 lift on that, so that is good. And each smelter is 30 per minute, so we can essentially double our production here. Okay. Very nice. So we have our 4 additional smelters here. Let these start filling up. All right, so these are up and running. We're just gonna go ahead and fill them into the line already. It is going to back up the line pretty quickly, but that is okay because that will help with the constructors catching up once we add them on. We'll go ahead and flood the line with these. So these are going to get a little bit backed up while we continue building. That is not a problem. These should be set correctly, right? I have 240 divided by 30. 8, yep. Okay, I just wanted to double check my math. It's been a little while since I played, so I'm not super confident in my math skills. So that is now 80 ingots per minute that we're making. That means that with our 6 constructors, we were going through 12.5 times 6, 75. Oh, it's not 80, sorry, it's 240. And we were using 75 of those here. And then I think it was, yeah, 50 of them here, 75 of them up here. Let me double check that none of these are lowered, so I'm not doing math for no reason. Okay. Start building the foundation out a little bit. I also need to consider that we're moving 300 screws currently. So this will be 350, 400, 450. This is all we'll be able to build, or all we'll be able to move with the tier 4 belt. So the next set of constructors will need to be on their own line. We'll go ahead and get this attached somewhat preemptively here. I'm just going to double check I got tier 4 belt on everything. And it will still be able to move it. It will be a little, actually it will be a little bit backed up because I have the 60 screws coming in from here. So maybe we actually, from this constructor onward, this is where we will start backing screws up a little bit. So screws, screws. And we're probably going to have to redo the belt here. Make sure that it is set up properly. I'm actually going to take this constructor off. I guess I technically should have taken the one on the back off, but because this only needs 140 screws, so this will push 150, and this will only push an extra 10, and it removes this belt that has been causing some issues with backing up my things. So if this fills up, that's fine because it won't be as bad, but this one was taking away from the splits being separated properly. So I wanted to fix that. Okay, so we have 25, 50, 100, 125, 137 and a half, 150, 175, 175. We still have quite a bit of... I need to go grab some iron plates. 1 second. So 50, 100, right? 25, 50, 75, 100. Add one more to this just to make the number nice and round. So it's 150 plus the 3 down here. That's 167 and a half. And want 6 more here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I built 7. Did I? I built, how many did I build? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So every 6 is 75. So that's 150. We're at 172 and a half. That doesn't sound right, but it probably is. Okay. So if I extend this any further, I won't have any way to get these pushed into the storage containers. I guess I can push them into that storage container, or I can make another one to the side and have that one feed in. There's a lot of ways that we can fix this. My only concern is how we're going to continue having this feed correctly, at some point, we're getting very close to the point of just having to like have a really long manifold, and I don't want to do that. We'll build the next 6 on this side, I think. They don't need to be super far apart. 3, 4, 5, and 6. I was wondering why my belts weren't backing up yet, and that would explain it. Okay. I figured everything should be like super backed up by now, and I couldn't figure out why it wasn't. Right. So this gives me another 75, 150, 225. No. 75, 150, yeah, 225, 250, 26.5, 27.5, 270 and a half, right? No. 262 and a half, yeah. That sounds correct. So I should be able to make one more constructor if my math is correct. 240 by 12 and a half, 19.2. I've got 18. Okay, I have too many actually. Yeah, 18, 19, 20, 21. But we're not done yet, because we still have this node over here that I also want to feed in. This is an impure node, so it's not going to give us as much, but it will help. So what are the odds that I've built my truck station right over top of this? Okay. So I'll have to move this back just a little bit. Okay, I had to rebuild the truck station a little farther back, fix the path so that it actually went on the path of the truck. But we are good to go now. So now we have our second miner here. It looked like this just turned off for a second. Is it? Why are these guys stopped? Ah, the system is backed up as intended. Okay, sorry. Just needed to double check that. So, I can just connect it to the rest of the system, or I can just extend the system down a little bit. Probably easier to just extend the system down. So this is going to give me 60 iron, or an extra 60 ore per minute. Actually, it probably is just better to connect it, right? So we can take these off, put a merger here. So don't think I can get this to just go directly in, so I think I need to put it down again. It's just like more at an angle. Okay, that's that one. And then this one. Yeah, it looks ugly, but you know, it works. And for my factories, that is pretty much the bare minimum. Okay, so that will be 2 more smelters, an additional 60 ingots per minute. for this. And I think these need to be tier 4 belts now, as we're pushing a little over 270. Technically the ones at the end don't need to be, but I just like everything matching so that if in the future I need to make changes, it doesn't come crashing down all at once because I didn't pay attention to one little thing that I didn't fix. Okay, so everything's upgraded to tier 4. We are now getting 300 ingots per minute, and I'm currently set up for so that gives me 24 constructors that I'll need to have running. Currently have 18, 19, 20, 21, so I need 3 more. We can just build them down here, and I will find a way for that to work, I suppose. One, 2, and 3. Now, I'm going to run through and set all of these to screws. Okay, all of these are now built. They're all hooked up to the power. And this is the final sort of decision that we have to make. Do we just throw these on a manifold, or do we try to load balance this somehow? I think we all can agree on what the easiest option of this is. So I'm going to disconnect these temporarily. I may not have enough. That might be okay. Okay, so we'll go. I mean, it has to start at the end of the line, I think. Otherwise, like if I put it in the middle, the splitter is gonna send some down this way and not the other way. So unfortunately, it's gonna look a little weird, but we have to do it like this. Also might need to move the other constructors back a little tiny bit. It looks like they are going to be encroaching a bit, but it is, it's fine. I'm not that stressed about it being perfect. One of the reasons I am kind of pushing for phase 4 so much is because the tier 5 belts would be pretty helpful for builds like these. But I'm not going to stress about it too much. So let's get a few of these belts hooked up so the screws can at least start feeding back in like they're supposed to. Fortunately, everything was so backed up that I don't think that slowed down what we were already producing at all, but definitely helpful to try to stay on top of it. So, continue down. And these are going to take a while to back up all the way down here, so I might just leave them. I don't think they know what they're supposed to be making it, do they? Yeah, they do. Okay. I don't know. I'll just let them run. It is what it is, right? Hook up all the belts. There we go. And the system, fortunately, the system's very flooded, so it shouldn't take too long for everything to fill up a little bit, and then once everything fills up, it won't be too much of an issue because we have exactly as many ingots as we need to produce, but everything has to fill up, of course, before we can get there. So with that, we have 24 constructors making 50 screws apiece. That gives us exactly 1,200 screws, plus the 60 that are being, the extra 10 that are being pumped from this belt, which will be a little bit of extra for us. And now all we need to do is get everything on a belt into these containers. So with a 480 belt, I can have 7 constructors connected to one belt. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So this one needs to come off. Then we'll come down this way. And this one at least has a pretty simple solution. We can just have the mergers built up a little bit, and they can take over the top slot for the storage. Okay, simple enough. Now we'll probably need a stackable conveyor pole here. Don't think it'll reach that far, yeah, not quite. But it won't let me build one where there is a belt currently. So here's what I'll do. We'll go like that. And then like that. Problem solved. Okay, so that is 900-ish. How many did I connect to these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But you can't have that many on this belt. We'll disconnect this one, I guess. Okay, so that is another 450. Double checking. Another 450 of our screws going in. That leaves us with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 constructors left. Perfectly split up, fortunately for us. Now it's an issue of figuring out how to get these guys into the containers over there. Obviously, like, pretty simply, we could just put a lift on, say, like this guy. And I mean, technically, it doesn't even have to have a lift on that, but yeah, I think the easiest thing I can do is just throw lift on here. I want to face it this way. Yeah, we can like build it out like this. Like so. Then we can put another lift here. Try to line it up so it's going the same height. And I don't think it's quite gonna make it from here to there, even without a straight pipe. So what we can do, get another stackable conveyor pole. I want it to turn right about there. So we grabbed the wrong side. Oh, it actually needs to go a little bit higher. That seems about right. And I'm just gonna get rid of these, so they're kind of a odd thing to keep in there. Okay, now the only issue is that if this container gets backed up, which inevitably, I mean, like right now it's going to, inevitably it will back up because it's pumping essentially 1100 screws into it in a minute, and we're only exiting 480 right now. So we're actually going to need 2 separate containers. Interesting. One, I do need to add the last constructor to that line. Quick. And to do that, we're just going to make a nice little belt right here. Yeah, so actually it might be better to have this one going into its own container, and then that container can feed, because here's what my plan is what I'm going to do is have each container's output feed 2 of the assemblers, because that'll be a little under 400 per minute. So with a tier 4 belt, it should be overfilling these just a little bit. So if I have 2 of them attached to that and 2 of them attached to this, then I'll need 1 more. So to do so, I'll actually set a container here. I'm going to take this lift off and put it on this. Like so. And now this will start filling up here. Right. And then now we'll need to disconnect everything. Or not everything, but we need to disconnect these so we can fill them in properly. So we want footer right here. This will need to be a tier 3 lift. And then this belt can feed this footer. Then for this one, I mean, technically I don't have to fill the crate directly, right? I can just, I don't really like not having a buffer for these, because then the constructors slow down and things get backed up, and it's just a nightmare to deal with eventually. Well, I might as well go ahead and disconnect this, because obviously we're not going to use that. Well, what we can do is we can put... It seems weird, but we can put another lift here. I believe this one would be 5 stacks up. I'll have to check that. You can tell that one's down. I think this one's just ever so slightly up. I guess it's fine. Okay. And then lifts on each side of it. This one doesn't quite reach the splitter, unfortunately. Did I put it center? Yeah, I did. That's probably why it looked kind of funny. Put it somehow the incorrect direction. I didn't think that was possible. And we'll do like so. Okay. Now, all of these should be getting the required amount of screws as needed. This has a small supply already in it, so it shouldn't back up. It is bringing in 450 screws. It's only using about 400, so it should be overproducing. These two, between the two of them, are bringing in 960. 960 divided by 195, 4.9. Okay. Okay, I think we have this working where I shouldn't run out of screws and I shouldn't have any more issues with the rotors not being made. Yeah, so 1170 with our constructors, we're making 1200, so we should have an excess of 30 screws as this goes on. So inevitably these will actually fill up a little bit. Cool, so that should resolve our issue with our rotors not being made quick enough. That'll mean the motors are being made at the correct pace, and inevitably the rotors will probably get backed up from the motors getting backed up, and when that happens, we'll be pretty content, because we'll have a ton of extra rotors, motors, etc. Etc., etc. All the same, right? I'm just gonna throw a industrial storage here, just because when it does inevitably back up, we will want it to store a little bit extra for us. Cool, that took a little longer than I was hoping, but it didn't take extremely long, which is good. How are we looking on stators from the train station? Basically full. Probably because the rotors haven't been getting used. But that will slowly start to dissipate, I'm sure. Awesome. So now that that is fixed, yeah, and it's going to take a little while for everything to kind of catch up. It looks like the constructors are all pretty much filled up except for the last one here on the end. This one will obviously take the longest, but even this one looks like it is slowly starting to operate functionally. Once all of these fill up completely, then these ones will start getting their necessary components. So we have a pretty healthy backstock of screws already, so I don't think it'll be too much of an issue, hopefully. But yeah, this is a much better way to have built this for sure. I should probably double check that I'm making enough copper sheets for this. I actually don't think I am. 22 and a half times 6, 135. Am I making 135 copper sheets over here? Yeah, not even close. So that's going to be the next thing I think we have to tackle for this. Don't think... Well, we could just attach this one to it. And I think actually I only put like a tier 1 mine. Yeah, I only put a Mark 1 miner on this, so I can double this one's production. And we can just attach this factory to that one, and it wouldn't be that big of an issue. In fact, I can... It's gonna look kind of funky, but the easiest way I can see to do it here. And then we can take this, make it a Mark II miner. Might have also been slowed down a bit, I don't remember. We'll need to... we'll just put it in a... We'll just put it on a manifold. It's a bit easier, it's not that much going in or out anyway. Okay. And 3 more constructors, I'm assuming. Should be enough. 1, 2. Don't have enough space for the 3rd yet. And they're facing the wrong way. 3. I will say, not having constraints with your power, like handling your power before it becomes an issue, makes such a massive difference in your mentality for how you build your factories. Like, obviously, like building a few constructors and a few assemblers, smelters, whatever, it's like nothing. But like when you start like making stuff at the scale that we're making it at now, it does start to become a little scary to like slap on an extra 400 megawatts of power if you don't know that you have it or not. Okay, so that will add another 60 copper sheets, which will put us at 120, I believe. No, yeah, 120, and we needed 115. We need 135. We need another 15 copper sheets, huh? Well, that might slow things down just a little bit. We're getting 120 out of this. If I pushed it to 135, could either overclock one smelter. I'd have to figure out a way to load balance, or I can make another smelter, connect that directly to one constructor, and just have that constructor overclocked as well. I think that is the easier thing to do here. So this will need... So I don't need to overclock the smelter. This just needs to overclock to 135, I believe. Is that right? $20 a minute for 10. I need 15 more. So I should be pushing 30 of the... Yeah, so just one more. So if I set this to... Yeah, I'm pretty sure 135 is correct. I'm not confident, but I think that is right. Okay. And then one more constructor. We'll just put it like right here. Right? You make your copper sheets. And then we overclock you. Make 15 per minute. So it's making, so it's using 30 ingots. This is making 30 ingots. And we're pushing one. Oh, we need 150. I need 150 out of this. That's fine. Okay. Okay. I think we got it. I think we're good. Okay. Obviously the copper sheets we had in reserve will more than cover the 15 that we weren't making per minute. But it is obviously better to be overproducing than underproducing, because eventually I'll have to come back and fix that anyway. So it looks like that is working properly. I'm just double checking everything as I typically do. I don't want to be stuck in a situation where I come back and check this and then find out I did something wrong, obviously. I think I should start filling these with fuel. I don't know how much fuel gives as far as supplying, like, I don't know, like, in comparison to the... You can check, right? Like, if I get on this and I look at... Okay, yeah, so 3 packaged fuel per trip. Now, the only problem with that is that I'll have to come over and fill it with packaged fuel pretty consistently. Now, I can head... First, I'm going to head over to the place where we're packaging fuel. As a matter of fact, I think I'm just going to get rid of this, and we're going to put a train station in. It's just so much more simple to have a train station doing this stuff compared to a truck that I have to, like, continuously monitor unless I can put the materials in this way without having to, unless you can fill the truck up consistently without having to, like, run back and forth to it. I don't really like the truck stations, and even then I don't think that they're that much better than the trains. So this is temporarily going to continue to fill our copper sheets in while I make this quick train station. The only issue with it is that the train stations are obviously bigger, so they take up more space, which means you have to account for that. But that is pretty easy, I would say. Okay, only thing we need to consider is how exactly we want to direct the train over there. I think the easiest thing to do would be to build our foundation out this way. can turn here. And then stop right here. Obviously, it would be a little bit better if they were a little bit more in line with each other, but that is definitely not the end of the world when it comes to your train stations. Like a weird bug where it it's like a extra bit of track on the end of it for some reason. Put our freight platform down right there. This is an unload platform, but of course, and it will. I'll put a buffer here just to help. Because obviously when the train is delivering, the copper won't be able to go in. And we don't want that. We'll want a empty platform. Then we can start building the railway. I'll meet you on the other side. And we'll just need to build our train station here. We should have enough space despite that rock being kind of in the way, but I think we'll be okay. We just build far enough back. Train station down. Right there. Freight platform on this side. And another empty platform, of course. Go ahead and connect our railway here, and then we can build the train. We have a locomotive here. A car. Locomotive. And just got to connect the conveyor belts. This will probably need a conveyor pole to make it down here. There we go. Cool, now we just need to hook these guys up to the power. Surely I have a pole around here somewhere that is not big. What was the truck station hooked up to, man? Where's that pole at? There we go. This train is backwards. How do I do that? I don't understand how I always put my second train on backwards. Edit timetable. Save. Turn on self-driving. It's just that simple, folks. So this will more consistently deliver the copper sheets for us, which is all I've ever asked for in life. I can go ahead and hook up, take this off, connect it here, and I'll take as many of the copper sheets as I can, start feeding them back in, and there we go. That is the copper sheet issue resolved, and now this rotor factory is actually pretty competent. I wouldn't say it's very clean looking, but it works, and for me, that is good enough. Looks like our screws are caught up. So there's no more backflow, which is great. That was something I was getting a little bit worried about, was whether or not it was going to be able to keep up with how many screws were coming out. Yeah, it looks like it is doing so just fine. I also just realized I set the other one... Oh, no, I did this correctly. Okay, I thought I set the other one to unload and this one to load, which would have been incorrect. Okay, so it came at the cost of a few power shards, which wasn't exactly what I was hoping for. I was hoping to make everything kind of cleanly without a bunch of extra production needed, but, you know, sometimes you gotta adapt to a plan. That being said, I think this is a good place to call it an episode. I know it's a little bit shorter, but with all the episodes that I'm having to record for this month, it is a little difficult to keep up with trying to keep my episodes a little bit longer because I have to record a lot more episodes. So thank you so much for watching. It is very much appreciated, and I will catch you in the next one.